Hello and welcome to the Key Stage 3 Maths lesson. Today we're going to be doing something called number skills. So that uses the 4 operations, which is adding, subtracting, multiplying and dividing. But this week we're going to concentrate on the first 2, which is adding and subtracting, and then next week we'll concentrate on the second 2, which is multiplying and dividing. So for this week your lesson objective is going to be able to add and subtract whole numbers using the column method. Then we're going to apply that to decimals, so you'll be able to add and subtract decimals using the column method. And then finally, we're going to take everything we've learned today, including addition and subtraction, and apply that to worded questions. So first, I'm going to remind you all about column addition. So column addition is a way of splitting a number to make it easier to add or subtract. So we do this by splitting all the numbers into tens and units, or thousands, hundreds, tens and units, and then it breaks it down for us. So for this one, units is the smallest, so the 6 and the 5. So 56 add 25. So 6 add 5 equals 11. Because the 11 is a 10, we put that underneath, so we carry 1, and we put the other one in the units column. We then had 5 add 2, which equals 7, and the one that we've carried, we add that one on, which equals 8. So we always start with the smallest units, so that would be units in this one, not the tens, and there is the one that we've carried over from the 11. So we're now going to apply this to hundreds, tens and units. So the unit is the smallest, so we're going to start there. So 1 add 9, that equals 10. So as you can see on your screen, the 1 is carried underneath and the 0 goes underneath the unit, so it still says 10. We'll then do 4 add 3, which equals 7. And there is a 1 underneath which has been carried. And we add that on, that becomes 8. We then finally work up to the hundreds column. So 6 add 2 equals 8. So 641 add 239 equals 880. Can you just pause the video and give this one a try for yourselves, please? So this one obviously goes up into the thousands, but can you give it a try using the exact same method you've just been shown? Okay, well done. If you've completed that one, remember to send your work into the Edge Academy where it will get marked and feedback will be given. So we'll go through the answers to that one. 8 add 3 equals 11. So we carry the 1 and put 1 underneath the units. We then get 5 add 3, which equals 8. We got the 1 underneath, so that equals 9. Finally, we go into the hundreds column, that 8 add 4, that equals 12. And then we go into the thousand column, so there's nothing at the top, we've got the 1 that's carried, so that becomes 1,291. So give yourself a big tick if you've got that, well done. And here's one to try for yourselves. So just pause the screen and give this one a try. You will have to carry some numbers on this one, so they will go underneath the line and you have to carry them. But pause the screen and give this one a try. Well done. If you are still struggling, at the very end of the video there will be some clips on how to do it in more depth if you need to break it down further. So at the end of the video, if you skip to the end, it will show you in detail how to do it. If not, we'll carry on, so well done. And here I have a code breaker for you to do. So I want you to fill in the gaps by working out the sums below. Then replace the number with a letter above in the gaps underneath to reveal a gold medal winning British Olympian. So you have to use column addition to do this, please. So you can write down your workings out in column addition. And A would be 55 add 28. You work that out. You then go to the table at the top and you convert that to a letter. So can you give that a try, please, for me? So pause the screen, give that one a try, please. Okay, well done. And finally, for the addition, I did say that we would apply everything that we've learnt to worded questions. So if you're very confident with worded questions, you can start with B. If you're not so confident, you can start with A. So the first one on A would be 38 add 57. Again, this is column addition, so can you use column addition, please? When you get down onto C, that's when we start using the thousands. So this one here might go into the 10,000s. So you might have to add an extra column on the end, but you do it exactly the same and you just carry the number underneath. So can you give the screen a pause and can you try that one for me, please? Okay, well done. Remember, you can send your work into the Edge Academy. And if you send that in, it will be marked and feedback will be given. So please send your work back into the Edge Academy. We're now going to move on. So now we've done addition of whole numbers. We're now going to do subtraction of whole numbers. And again, we're going to use column addition. So we need the 100, tens and units. There's 48. And there's your 26. But this time, instead of adding them, we're going to be taking them away. So the first thing we need to do is do 8 take away 6. And that equals 2. We then do 4 take away 2, which equals 2. Here's a visual picture, so you can see it. That was 8 take away 6, that leaves you with 2. And then we do 4 take away 2, so it'd be 40 take away 20, because it's in the tens column. And that would leave us with 22. However, not all questions are that easy, so we're now going to show you a different way to do them. Again, we're going to use column addition, so the 100, tens and units. There's the 65, take away 29. 65 take away 29. So we always place the largest number on top, and you have to put the digits in the correct number. You then show the subtraction and equal sign. And this is where it gets a little bit more complicated. Now we have to do 5 take away 9. You can't do 5 take away 9, so that means we need to borrow from the next column. So we're going to borrow from the 6. So we put a cross through the 6, and we're going to take 1 away from it. That now becomes a 5. That 10 that we've just stole, we're going to put next to the 5, so that becomes 15. So now we have to do 15 take away 9, and that equals 6. In the tens column, we've got 5 take away 2, or 50 take away 20, and that equals 3. Therefore, 65 take away 29 equals 36. Here is a word problem for you to have a look at. So Adam had 90 pence. He bought a bar of chocolate for 65 pence. How much money did he have left? It's a takeaway. So what does that one equal? Remember, you have to put the biggest number at the top, take away the smallest number. So can you give that one the screen a pause and try and work that one out for me, please? So give the screen a pause and try and work that one out. Well done if you've finished that one. So that would be 90 take away 65. So if you work that out using column addition, you should have got 25 pence as your answer. So please give yourself a big tick for that one. So that was 25 pence. Can you have a read through this question? And then I will write down the sum for you, and then you'll need to work it out. So pause the screen, see if you can work it out. If you can't, I'll give you a few hints. So can you give that one a try, please? Okay, so that was again another takeaway. So 172 in a tall tree, but 153 of them flew away. So that's 172. Take away 153. So can you work that one out, please? So 172 on top, take away 153 on the bottom. And finally, Jenny is 173 centimetres tall. Her baby brother Tom is 145 centimetres shorter. How tall is Tom? Again, it's another takeaway. The big number goes on top, so that's 173. Take away 145. Remember to line up the columns so you don't get mixed up. Can you work that one out, please? And remember to send your work into the Edge Academy and it will get marked. Okay, well done. So now we're going to move on to adding and subtracting decimals using the column method. So this is an example for you to have a look at. So I brought a new app costing £3.22 and a new phone case which cost £5.71. How much did I spend in total? So I want to add £3.22 and £5.71. So now we're applying the addition that we learned earlier to decimals. Have a look at this for me. Tell me if you can see anything that's wrong with it. So just have a look. Do you think there's anything wrong with that one? So just have a pause, write it down, and see if there's anything wrong with that question. Okay, there were a few things wrong with that question. If I was to work that question out, I would have got £3.791. So that's not even possible. So where did it go wrong? If we have a look at the decimal places, they need to be put in line with each other. So that means they all need to be in line. So that's where that one went wrong. So the decimal places must be aligned before adding or subtracting the numbers. So if I rewrite it with them all aligned, that's what it should look like, which should make it much easier. So 1 add 2 is 3, 7 add 2 is 9, 5 add 3 is 8. So in total I would have spent £8.93. So remember the golden rule, always put the decimal place in line with each other. Can you pause the screen and give this one a go, please? So can you pause the screen and give this question a try? It is all lined up for you, so I have lined the decimal places up. So can you give that one a try, please? Okay, well done. So I'm going to go through this one now with you. So it was an example. So in the first column, we've got 2 add 4, which equals 6. In the second column, we've got 5 add 3, which equals 8. Then put the point in, and we've got 4 add 2, which equals 6. So if you got that right, please give yourself a big tick. Another example for you to try, but this time we need to carry. So can you pause the screen and give that one a try? Remember, this time we need to carry. Okay, we're going to go through this one. So remember, I did say that you had to carry this time. So 8 add 5 equals 13. So we have to carry the 1, put it underneath. So 1 and 3 is there. 7 add 1 equals 8. Plus we've got the 1 underneath, which equals 9. Put the point in, and then 4 add 3. So that would equal £7.93. Here is one to try by yourself. So you've got all the knowledge now to apply it to this question. So can you give this one a try? So just pause the screen for a few seconds and give this one a try, please. Okay, and one last one for you to give a try is this one. This time you have to carry twice. So just take your time with it, pause the screen. Here are some addition questions for you to try. So they start off with 2-digit numbers building to 3-digit numbers, and then down to the bottom we've got some worded questions. On the next slide there'll be some more worded questions for you to give a try. So this is to hit the lesson objective to apply it to worded questions and decimals. So just pause the screen. Once you finish those, I'll move down to the next slide and then you can try the worded questions. Okay, we're now going to move on to subtraction of decimals. And again, the golden rule, the decimal points must be aligned before adding or subtracting the numbers. And if you need to, you can add something called a placeholder 0 in to help. So 0 doesn't count for anything. If it just keeps things in line for you, you can add a 0. So work out the following without a calculator. So 5, for question A, 5 take away 3 we can't do, so we need to borrow. So the 3 needs to borrow. So that means we cross out the 6, we turn that to a 5. And the 1 that we borrow gets moved across to the 3, that means 13. So 5 take away 13 equals 8. 8 take away 5 we can't do, so we need to borrow again, that becomes 4. And 15, so 15 take away 8 equals 7. Then finally, 4 take away 2 equals 2. So this was from before, you should be able to this one, so do you want to give B a try, please? So just pause the screen and give B a try. Okay, well done, we'll go through that one. So 9 take away 4 you can't do. There isn't nothing to borrow from the one before. So we need to borrow from the end column. So that should 7 becomes a 6. That then becomes a 10 in the middle. We borrow from the 10 and that becomes a 14. So 14 take away 9 equals 5. The middle column we've got 9 take away 3 which equals 6. And in the final column we've got 6 take away 4 which equals 2. Okay, so now we're going to move on to the decimals. And remember I said the golden rule is you line up the decimal points. So I've just done that one for you. I've just lined up the decimal points and put it into columns. So the first column, there is nothing above the 6. So to make it easy, we're going to put a 0 there, as you can see. So 6 take away 0 and another 0 there. So 6 take away 0 you can't do. So we have to borrow. So 7 becomes a 6 and we move the 1 across. That becomes a 10 take away 6 equals 4. We then got 6 take away 5 equals 1. Put the decimal point in. 4 take away 3 we can't do, so we need to borrow from the next column. 13 take away 4 equals 9. 0 take away 0 still becomes a 0. So that becomes 9.14. Can you write down the next question, please? So D, can you write that down, put it into columns, and then we'll try and solve that one. So can you first of all write it down in a column? Okay, well done. So that's what it looks like in a column. We need to put some zeros in. So we're going to put the zeros after the 9. So 0.000. And then we can start answering this question. So 0 take away 5 we can't do. So that means we need to borrow from the very end. So that becomes an 8. The 1 moves down. That becomes a 9. The 1 moves down. That becomes another 9. And the 1 moves down. And there we've got 10 take away 5 which equals 5. Next column over we've got 9 take away 7 which equals 2. The third column we've got 9 take away 4 which equals 5. And then the last column we've got 8 take away 2 which equals 6. And don't forget to put the decimal point in. So there's your worked examples for you. Here are some questions to give a try. So again, just pause the screen for a few moments. Start with question 1 and work your way through. On the next slide, we've got some more worded questions for you. So once you've finished those questions, just unpause or go to the next slide, then just pause it again for the final questions. So well done. Remember to send your work into the Edge Academy to get marked. So please, please, please send your work into the Edge Academy where we can mark it and get it back to you. And finally, you must show all your workings out in all questions. But I want you to try and write down a set of instructions for someone who wasn't in the lesson, so they will be able to add and subtract decimals. I want you to write 8 questions for them to practice, 2 really easy ones, 2 harder ones, 2 hard ones, then 2 really hard ones. So can you please give that a try? So that would be your extension task. Remember the steps For decimals, you write the biggest number on top, you line up the digits in the place value columns, make sure the decimal points are lined up, start by subtracting the column on the right, taking the bottom number away from the top, and if the top digit is less than the digit you are going to subtract, you need to exchange with a digit in the column to the left, which means you are borrowing. So those are the 4 steps that you need, so that might be able to help you with your task, your extension task. And finally, these were the lesson objectives. So to be able to add and subtract whole numbers using the column methods, that was the first thing that you did. Then we moved on to doing decimals, adding and subtracting decimals. And at the very end, we've applied all of this and we've put it into word questions. So well done. What will follow next is some clips to help explain the column addition and subtraction further. So if you do need some extra guidance, please just stay until the end of the video and it will show you how to do it in more detail with examples. So if you do need a little bit more help with it, please watch the video that's attached to the end of this lesson. Thank you, and remember to send your work into the Edge Academy where it will get marked and returned. So thank you very much for your time. I hope you have a great day and I hope to see you all soon.
This video will show you how to use the column addition method where the tens and units columns both total 10 or more. So the first thing that I'm going to do is I'm going to put my tens and units columns in because it's really important that I write the calculation correctly beneath there. So the first calculation that I'm going to do is 67 add 55. I put some lines for a space for my answer. Add the units first. 7 units and 5 units is 12 units. So the 2 of the 12 goes in the units column and the 10 goes just beneath the answer column, large, so that I don't forget about it. Then I can add the rest of the tens. 6 tens and 5 tens makes 11 tens, and this 1 10 from earlier makes 12 tens. And I can write that like so, 122. I'll do another example. Again, I'll put my tens and units column titles. And this time I'm going to do 58 add 43. So add the units first. 8 and 3 is 11. Put the 1 there and the 110 there. So there's my 11, 110 and 1 unit, but I'm not ready to put that in the answer space yet because there are other tens that need to be added to it. So we've got 5 tens and 4 tens is 9 tens. Add this one makes 10 tens. So I put the 10 like that, and the answer in this case is 101. As you can see, the answer has gone into this next place value column along, which is the hundreds. If you've coped okay with that, then please watch my other videos which show you how to do exactly the same with the column method when larger numbers are involved. If this is a little bit tricky, I also have videos showing you what to do when you only need to carry 1 column or no columns at all.